You join me in the heart of the Sussex countryside. It's the 4th of February, it's about 3 p.m. Yeah, and I'm just out and about in the surrounding countryside, adjacent to the village of where I live. The purpose of this video really, I suppose, was to share with you my experience of discovering what's referred to as flat earth. I probably first stumbled across it over 12 months ago now, purely by accident, as a lot of people that put videos on YouTube seem to say. But yeah, I mean, let's just say that I've been pursuing truths of many other issues and becoming awake over time, probably for the last 6 years. That's not to say that I live my life blinded by things and being content with what life was. I mean, I've always had a distrust, for authority figures. I've always questioned things, from a young age, right back to school. I took no formal exams in school, although I was entered for them, which doesn't make me thick or a retard. It just means I was distracted and occupied by other things other than education or indoctrination. But I went through the schooling system. I was a bit of a thorn in its side. Left at 16 and entered the big wide world. This was 1982. So anyone from the UK and who's old enough will relate to what kind of state Britain was in 1982 and the government that was in place at the time. But I don't want to dwell too much on that. But yeah, I've always felt something wasn't right, things weren't right. Many reasons really, I suppose. Too many to list. But yeah, so I've been on quite a journey through life, ups and downs, as a lot of people in the real world seem to experience. And I started really, I suppose, touching on human rights, our rights as beings, in this world we live in, and the system of law that operates in Great Britain and where we stood within that, which soon took me on, a rapid journey, which a lot of the things didn't surprise me that I uncovered. They just made more sense. With obviously, evidence and things to back them up. But yeah, I probably touched on a lot of subjects over the last 6 years. And through gaining knowledge of certain things and then, looking into history and things we weren't taught in school, things that we were blatantly lied about, yeah, I mean, certain things made me raise an eye and, you know, thinking, wow, could that be possible? Is that really true? And a lot of it came as no surprise, I don't know, just due to some inherent feeling within me. I can't really describe it any better. But yeah, I think as time went on, a kind of underlying fear that people live in, you know, of like, oh, you know, I can't afford to pay this month, or, you know, I've got this problem, or just had a letter off the electric people, or the council tax, or whatever. You know, once I've got the full realisation of things, all that kind of just fell away, you know. And I suppose I'm fortunate in a sense that I live a lifestyle where I'm not overly governed by these things. That's not to say that I'm rich or I've got loads of money or nothing. I just, the way I choose to live and where to live affords me the benefits of not complying, if you like, in every single aspect, as a lot of people do through fear of consequence. So yeah, the flat earth thing was just literally a suggestion that had popped up on me YouTube homepage. I mean, I can't remember exactly what the first video I watched, but, you know, it made me raise an eye, like, and not even in a sense of, oh, let's have a look at this is going to be preposterous, as, you know, a lot of things that crop up on YouTube, you know, turn out to be, or, you know, you think that's the case. So, yeah, you know, I watched, and I don't know, I watched another, you know, then another, and then obviously there was quite a repetition in terms of what certain people were saying, so I'm thinking, okay, yeah. I then went and refreshed my memory on how our heliocentric system allegedly works, that, you know, we're taught through life, and is pushed upon us at every given opportunity, it would seem, through various ways. And, you know, without going on too much, I mean, it became apparent to me that there was something in this, and, you know, I started making my own observations, what I could. I didn't want to get too bogged down in the science and physics of it all, and, you know, be baffled by equations. You know, I wanted simplicity, common sense, Occam's razor, as they say. And yeah, you know, after a few months, like, not even that, I mean, I can't really say how long before I was wholeheartedly convinced. But yeah, you know, I just started paying more attention to the world I lived in. I mean, I'd been evolving anyway over the past 6 or 7 years into something different than I was then to what I am now. How I see things in life in general, and you know, some harsh lessons have been learnt along the way. But yeah, you know, I'm of the opinion, what can't speak can't lie, you know what I mean? And it's getting to the stage now where I'm not really seeing anything new to sort of watch or to take in, you know. Just things getting repeated really, the same videos put up by somebody else with a different title or different thumbnail. So you think you're initially seeing something different and then you're not. But yeah, fair play, you know, people are just getting the message out there, and I get that. But I'm not sure where, you know, I don't think I need any further convincing as to the way it is, if I'm honest. And I mean, short of me being took up into the outer edges of, you know, our atmosphere and hitting space and actually, you know, looking back at myself and taking a picture, I'm not sure what would actually convince me. Obviously I've looked into, covered biblical stuff, scriptures, you know, things that, you know, I wasn't a religious person. I mean, I was christened in Church of England, which I suppose makes me a Protestant, but it was never pushed upon us through family life, as I recall. Not from my parents. I mean, my grandparents held a little bit more sort of religion within their lives. But yeah, I'm kind of ashamed to say, I suppose, at one point in my life, you know, my favourite phrase to say about the Bible would be, yeah, one of the greatest works of fiction ever written by man. But as I walk through this field right now making this video, I have to say that I could probably eat them words now, you know what I mean, without doubt. And not just, you know, stuff pertaining to flat earth. I mean, so many prophecies and messages in them words, obviously depending on what version you follow or read. I mean, most of my readings, to be honest, have been with the King James version, which seems to be the suggested version of choice. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey. Now, you know, I've not become religious because of this, you know, following some particular dogma within religion, but I have to say that I'm of a firm belief that there is a creator involved in all this, because it just seems to, you know, grand and fascinating and just immense to be a coincidence, you know, that we stumbled into being from some fucking accident billions of years ago, you know. It just sounds preposterous. And it, you know, it strikes me that there's more behind it, you know, more planning, more things came to be what they came to be for good reasons, you know. And especially when you start to see past all the deceit and lies and falseness that we've been subject to through our lives to believe certain things. You know, it just seems to fall into place more. Well, it has for me. I mean, I'm not here to try and convince anyone of anything in this, other than sharing my own thoughts on it, like, and how it came to be and how it's, you know, affected me in general, like. I mean, in some respects, there's a good aspect to it. Despite what anyone says, I feel that I'm in a band of people that have got good intuition, common sense, and, a certain level of intelligence to comprehend it all, and that's intelligence is irrelevant to what education you had or what letters you've got after your name or what accolades you claim to have. Education and higher education, particularly higher education, just gives you a greater ability to regurgitate back all the stuff that's been pumped into you over the years while you took part in it. That is not, to me, that is not a sign that someone is intelligent, at all. So, but yeah, I've been through an emotional roller coaster, really. Obviously trying to get my head around the lie and why the deception would be what it's been. Also, yeah, I felt good in some ways, I felt elevated. I felt like almost, to use the word Illuminati, like an enlightened one. Like I feel I am enlightened by this, like above a lot of people, and it's not something I bring up with people. I know. I mean, yeah, I've broached it with a few people, but I've not even got into it with my family yet. Certain friends, I wouldn't say anyone I know has actually embraced it like I have. One guy, he just says, oh, yeah, it's interesting, like, I don't know, it's some kind of entertainment for him maybe, but he's not, he's not convinced, and just reverts back to his indoctrination and trying to hit me with what he sees as science, which I have to say, I have to laugh at now inside, because obviously he doesn't like me laughing externally. But the same as I wouldn't like anyone laughing at me if they were to mock me on what I believe to be true. But I just really like to, I'm a guy that, I live a simple life. I have a small circle of friends, acquaintances. It's always been the pattern for me through life, really. I'm not someone who's on Facebook saying, yeah, I've got 2,000 friends, blah, blah, blah. And in reality, there's just people you've met through life and know through the people. They're not friends. So I'd say my life was quite lonely anyway, up to a degree, but even more so now I've embraced and welcomed this into my life. I don't like to use the term I'm a flat earther, because it's just labelling unnecessarily for me. I mean, first and foremost, I'm a human being, and I'm a man living flesh and blood, and bones. I just so happen to believe that, or don't believe what we've been told all our lives, through the programming we've received. I know I'm not alone, because, the internet's a testimony to that, but actually meeting them in real life has been quite difficult. But, I live in hope. But yeah, it kind of, I don't live as a recluse, but, I have a certain isolation from the mainstream public life, shall we say, by choice, but I get me fix of, people watching and interaction when I need it, and that suits me. Obviously, it'd just be nice to meet someone maybe that I could actually share this wholeheartedly with, and you know, would get what I see and sort of see what I see, you know. But yeah, you know. But yeah, it's made me see so many other things in different lights as well, and you know, being appreciative of what we've been provided with, the world we live in, what we've got, you know. And so you get the bigger understanding of that, and like I say, it makes sense, you know. And yeah, it's, you know, it's about stepping back from the ego as well, and you know, realising that you've actually got a soul and, you know, a heart, instead of being ruled by your head and, you know, me, I want, or, you know, doing everything to conform with what's seen as normal and right. You know, it's not something that I want to partake in, you know what I mean? Yet I've lived a life of ego and being materialistic and being selfish and not seeing outside of my own box, but I think it pleases me to say that I think I've gone well beyond that at the point I'm at now in life. And, you know, these trappings that we desire to adorn ourselves with to show that, you know, I don't know, we're successful, you know, wearing designer clothes, labels, and driving a certain car and living in a certain postal code and a certain type of a house, and, you know, quoting how big your telly is and, you know, what kind of salary you're on, and it's, I don't know, it's just so far from what I feel that this is all about, you know. And I think, you know, I've had 7 years ago, I had a serious change in environment, you know, from where I was to where I am now. And when I look back on what I feel I've developed and become in that time, demonstrates to me that you can be a product of your environment, and you know, you fall in with what's considered normal and acceptable, and you know, obviously there's peer pressure, and you know, you just want a simple life, you know, but and you're bothered by what other people's impression is of you. And yeah, obviously I want to be, these days I want to be thought of as someone who's considered to be a decent guy, and I make you know, a decent, the right impression on people that I meet in life, not a bad one. But I can look back at myself and think, yeah, I didn't make a good impression of myself then. I've left a bad impression of myself on that person, whatever. I never really give a shit about it, like, but I kind of do now in a way. Not in the sense that, you know, what I'm about and how I conduct myself is to please others, you know. It's because of, you know, it's what I see as the right way to be going about things. You know, I self-govern myself. I don't feel I need society's rules and regulations dictated to me to tell me what I'm to do and not to do. You know, it's inherent, you know, it's natural law, you know. I don't go about in life with the aim to cause anyone harm, loss or injury in any shape or form, and don't expect to have the same put back on me by somebody else. And you know, I mean, it's not about like, well, turning the other cheek and being walked on. You know, you still have like what you consider your boundaries of what's acceptable, you know, towards you and that in life. Just maybe you deal with them a bit differently and react different. But yeah, it's I'm just, you know, I'm wondering just when it's all going to erupt and it's going to be coming out more mainstream, you know, because it can't stay, that's not certainly not hidden away, but, you know, it can't stay, you know, it's got to escalate more, it's got to, you know, more people have got to see and understand, you know, before it's too late. Sorry, I'm just, is that it? I've just seen the moon up there, so I was just trying to capture the moon in the footage. Which I'll actually do now anyway, just so where are we? I bloody see it, it's right above that cloud. Oh, there she is. Sorry about the shakiness, like I'm on quite a reasonable zoom handheld, it's a bit tricky. But yeah, you know, I mean, as you can see, a sweep down, pan round. No editing. I mean, that's just one of the things that fascinates me. I'm just pointing it out because it's there. But, you know, that image there just doesn't work on a ball for me. There's no way. I mean, probably not right now because it's not full, but there's a crater on the moon, I think Tycho or something it's called, and it's supposed to be something like 54 miles across, and you supposedly can see it with the naked eye, possibly on a full moon. I don't know if that's variant on where you are in the world as to the positioning of the moon, but I've seen it on footage of Tuck zoomed in anyway. I've never really made a point of looking with the naked eye, but I will on the next full moon. But yeah, you know, that's like 39,000 miles away. And we can see this like crater that's 50 odd miles across. I mean, come on, I mean, that's just ridiculous, you know what I mean, to even contemplate. I mean, look how small, you know, I live not far, I'm in the vicinity of Gatwick, let's put it that way, where, you know, planes cross. And, you know, when a plane's up there 35,000 feet, you know how big it is, you know what I mean? You can see how big it looks, it's next to nothing. You know, on a plane would fit inside a football pitch, wouldn't it? So to say that, like, you can see this crater with the naked eye on something, you know, if that's only hundreds of miles away, 1,000 or two, I mean, there's different, I've seen different figures quoted for like the sun, based on the geocentric model. Certainly not 93 million miles away, but some say 3,000, some say less. But yeah, I mean, you know, there's just no way. I don't even based on the size, the moon's like a quarter the size of the Earth or something. You know, I just don't even believe you'd be seeing that like 250,000 miles away. It's not even like a comprehensible figure, you know what I mean, to even contemplate. But yeah, as you can hear, I live quite close to a monastery as well, so there's always daily bell activity, like nightly too. But yeah, I think I'll close for now and leave it at that and gather my thoughts. Anyway, thanks for listening.